You want to add any comments? I knew Pat would. I knew Pat would.
Yeah, if you institutionalize uninstitutionalized reflection, do you think there is a risk that that will silence it?
Oh, yeah, perhaps that's part of how I might need to rethink the way I framed that. There's the possibility of co-optation. There's a possibility of bringing people so much into the fold that they go native and they join the system, right? So I think that is a genuine risk that we need to look at. So I was trying to be a little whimsical when I put those two words together, institutionalizing uninstitutionalized participation. And I suppose it's a challenging thing to do, and I haven't gotten any further than putting that proposal out there, and we need to think about the pros and cons of making that happen and how to make that happen.
One of the things that I love about the history of rhetoric and rhetorical study is it's just wholehearted embrace of agonism. It doesn't even have to be dialectical, right? It can just be agonistic, and that's a very productive and useful kind of space. And as you were talking about the movement and secrets, from secrets of government and security to trade secrets, proprietary knowledge, this kind of thing, indicates, I think part of that is a reflection of a movement from a government-centered and government-driven agenda with nuclear to an economic, commercial, corporate-driven agenda with some of the nano application that's going on. And as I think about that, it indicates a different kind of sight or a different kind of contours for the agon that's possible. In some ways more open, more fair game, less question of patriotism, less capability, but in some ways also thicker and denser in some areas, like questioning secrets that become trade secrets puts you in all of the intellectual property law and all of the kinds of difficulties of that. So, as I'm thinking about the suggestions that you're making, sort of, I was thinking about this. These are the cautionary kinds of notions to keep in mind as we're doing the research. The idea of instituting or embracing agonism requires maintenance of a certain degree of antagonism in terms of positionalities. But the notion of rhetorical skill in adaptation to those changes in what the agonistic contours look like might be facilitated by taking people who have kind of rhetorical sensitivities and trainings, yourself, other rhetoricians, into spaces in which these kinds of questions are happening. So that notion of institutionalizing non-institutional reflection can happen in a space of agon between the institutional and non-institutional. Does that make sense?
It does, and one response I have is that we may need somewhat different skills to engage in that kind of an agonistic setting than we use to engage in the consensus building settings that we're so familiar with, right? But yes, I like your comment.
I like agon skill.
Great, thank you, Bill.
All right.
I don't think